Hello, I'm Stephanie. I'm also known as Watercolor Artiste in online circles, and I am the artist of midlifeartist.com. And I'd like to welcome you to my channel, welcome you to my weekly live stream, where I keep myself accountable to do artwork weekly. So if I don't do it any other day, I do it on Wednesday nights together with you. So welcome. If you can hear me, throw a thumbs up in the chat. That would be really great. Making sure everything's working right. Hello there, author Lisa Stevenson. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. All right, things are working. Very good. Okay. Yes, so I am the artist of midlifeartist.com. That's my website. And if you want to connect with me other than on Wednesday nights, if you want to follow along on social media for posts other than this, great. Thank you for using my custom emojis, Lisa. Thank you so much. I have an echo on my OBS, which I'd never had before. I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, I got my volume down, so it shouldn't be too bad. But if you want to connect with me other than on Wednesday nights, you know, follow along on posts and other things, you can connect with me on social media through the links at my connect and support page on my website at midlifeartist.com. There you will find what social media I am available to connect with, as well as a way to support me. If you are looking to support me in any way, shape, or form, you can shop from my Amazon wish list for my art supplies by clicking on the link of the Amazon logo from that page, or by Cash App. Donations are always welcome, but not mandatory. So, and Wednesday nights are always free for as long as I have any control over the matter. So that's how you can support me. I welcome you again to the live stream. I'd like to go ahead and go to news and events. I've got a few things to share with you. First and foremost, last week's live stream hit an all-time high for views. I've never had this many views. I'm one shy of 700 views on that live stream that you can see the replay. It's from a week ago, my last Wednesday live stream. I don't know how that happened. I'm assuming that that it may have been on the Rumble homepage somehow. I'm not sure, but it's interesting. I was just trying to figure out what's causing my echo over here. Thankfully, you guys aren't hearing an echo, right? So yeah, I just thought I'd share that. I was wicked excited. It was weird because about an hour after I finished my live stream last Wednesday, I was looking at the stats and it was hundreds of views. And I'm like, that never happens to me. What happened? You know, and I don't know what happened. I only have a theory and I'm not sure how to figure out where it happened. But anyway, I'm just excited. So if you haven't watched last Wednesday's live stream, catch the replay and be my 700th view on that video. That would be so cool. Anyway, I don't want to harp on that one. But anyway, before I move on to the next image, I wanted to share with you that if you haven't been following along in the last couple of live streams, for the month of July, I've been in the Rumble Creator Program, and I am for the month. However, it's looking like I'm not going to hit the markers that I was striving for in order to remain in the program into August. There's just the 500 view hours of my content is just too steep a climb. And I have reconciled myself to the fact that I'm just too small a channel right now to maintain such high requirements for the program. So I have decided that although I'm going to still continue to try to strive and hit as many of the markers for the month of July as possible, I'm reconciled to the likelihood that I won't be renewed for August. And so I'll just continue to grow my channel organically. And once I get bigger, whatever that looks like, I have no idea yet. I'll give it a go again later on down the road. It's a hill I've decided I'm not dying on. So anyway, I just thought I'd let you know. So no worries. If you haven't watched last week's live stream, I would encourage you to just to hit me over the 700 mark, 700 views, just because I was so excited. So I'm hoping again that I'll get growing some more. Who knows? Anyway, now on to a wonderful, wonderful segment here before I get underway with my painting. If you've watched some of the more recent live streams, I've talked about how I'm an admin for a artist group on Truth Social called the Arts Collective. And it's a small group because it's new. And so we don't have a ton of membership, and that's okay. We're fine being small and growing organically as a group as well. We have a great group of talented artists. We've got visual artists, we've got musicians, we've got musical instrument makers, we have writers, and so we're just very blessed to have a wide variety of creative people in the group. And the admins and I have discussed how we would like to try to help prop up our fellow creators and members in the group, because one, we want them to know that the group is theirs as much as it is ours as admins. We're all equal, and that we want to help propel other artists forward. So once in a while, I'm going to do this feature of featuring one of the artists from the group. And this is going to be 4 members of the Arts Collective from Truth Social. So if you're not in that group and you would like to be, so that maybe you can be featured sometime down the road on my live stream, make sure that you're on Truth Social. And if you're creative and you want to be part of the group, send a request for membership, and one of us in the admin group will review and most likely approve you and have you join in. So without further ado, today's featured artist from the group is Rick Cassidy. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you some of his artwork. He is, let me see my notes here. My notes. Okay, so he is, I have to find my notes here. Okay, he's a self-taught working artist specializing in artwork featuring sports figures, comic book heroes, entertainment, movie fan art, and pop culture. And I just pulled a couple of his images from his marketplace, which all of his links to connect with him, to see more of his artwork, to maybe purchase a print or anything like that, everything that I could find on him is linked in the live stream description. So if you want to connect with him, if you want to watch some of his videos, he is on Rumble, and he has a marketplace website that you can buy prints of a favorite sports figure or team or favorite pop culture icon that he may have rendered. So just be aware that all of his links that I could find that he's put out publicly are in the show description, and you can link directly from there. So here's here's a representation of his sports drawings. He specializes in colored pencil, graphite, pen and ink, and watercolor, even acrylics. So he's very versatile. This was a fan favorite from the July 1st Arts Collective live stream celebrating the 250th of America, which I hosted on my channel here on July 1st for the group. And this was a favorite. So I wanted to share that as well, because well done, well done. And then Code Red National Weather Service. We're under a flood watch because of Bertha, so I apologize for the interruption. But this is a favorite of mine. I think this was an older work of his But I love me some Superman because my husband's nickname is Superman, at least in this household. And I found this one to be very, very well done. It's a favorite of mine. So yes, let's see here. And then the last one that I have is this one, because this is not one of his usual ones. It's about a cow, and it's just really well rendered, and I loved it, you know. And so he's got a variety of artwork, but he really excels in the comic book heroes, in the sports figures for sure. But go check him out. Let me show you some of his pages so that you can be aware. Yeah, it's not even raining here yet. It was sunny, like at the start of the show. Let's see here. Okay. So he is on Rumble. I don't know if he's got a YouTube channel. If he does, he'll have to put it down in the comments because I didn't see a YouTube channel link anywhere in his socials. But his Rumble page is Cassidy Art on Rumble, and it shows him working on his artwork. He's also on True Social, and that's what his page looks like, his banner and his profile picture. So if you're on True Social and you're not connected with him yet, please feel free to reach out to him and let him know that you saw his work on my live stream. That way he knows where you're coming from. And then he's also on Instagram. So this is his Instagram page, linked directly from his Rumble channel. And so you can see some of his other artwork there as well. And then last but not least is his marketplace website, Mercari.com. But again, and that's where you can buy prints. Now, one of the things that you ought to know is that anytime that you buy a print from his marketplace here, all proceeds from his print sales are donated to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, according to his postings on social media. So if you want to not only show your support and encouragement to Rick, but also to support St. Jude's Children's Hospital, you could do that in a twofer by buying a print from his webpage. So welcome him to your social media circles, celebrate his artwork and his talent, and show him some love by connecting with him, buying a print, and sharing that love with St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So Rick, kudos to you. We're glad to have you in our membership, and we celebrate you. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So on to other news. What do I have? Okay, gotta go back to this page. I finally applied to the tent event of the Arts Fest at the Creative Arts Guild that's happening in mid-September. So not only did I apply to the exhibition like I've done the last 3 years, but this year for the first time, I'm also applying to be a vendor in their tent event for their opening weekend. So I'm waiting to hear back from the jury process, and that's going to be a busy September in the middle. So hopefully, cross your fingers that the artwork I submitted to the exhibition, as well as my application as a vendor, be accepted, and maybe I can make a good showing come September. Okay, and that's the last of that. Let me just also say that the artwork that we have, hold on, the artwork that we have at the Harris Arts Center in Calhoun, Georgia, is actually going to be on exhibition through August. It's got an extension. We were asked to extend the exhibition date from the end of this month through the beginning of September. So we're excited that they wanted to keep our artwork on exhibit for a whole nother month. And that's 3 of my paintings, 1 of Ron's paintings. So that's going to be still at the Harris Arts Center in Calhoun, Georgia. Okay. That was a lot of news and events. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. And I am going to move along to my 2-view live stream. Okay, hopefully it's working. Yay. Okay. I'm going to have to figure out where my echo is coming from. I've not had an echo before. It's driving me to drink. So anyway, okay. Elijah was trolling the prophets of Baal in scripture, where he not only, bragged on God, but he doused his altar and the sacrifice and the trench all around 3 times over with water. And then he trolled the prophets of Baal by telling them, "Oh, where is your God? He's probably off tinkling." And so it's quite an epic scene. And this is the peak where fire comes down and consumes that sacrifice, despite how saturated with water it is. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to capture here. And uh-oh. Am I okay? Okay, are we all right? Let me know if you hear me. I refreshed my page. I'm going to close down my social stream. Okay. Because I'm not going to muck around. There we go. Hopefully that works. Am I sounding better, everybody? All right. I'm going to bounce back and forth every now and then to make sure the chats on their regular pages are working. I'm not going to worry about the featured chats and the chat overlays, because I have a feeling that even though it's worked in the past, I'm just going back through and making sure that those are turned off. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. I apologize for my technical difficulties. I'm constantly struggling with that. I'm looking to watch a couple of YouTube videos maybe of how to conserve some of the memory on this laptop from things running in the background that don't need to be, probably Microsoft related stuff that takes up my memory, or the working memory, or whatever it is called. So I'm going to work on that because this is the equipment I have. I've got to make it work. Anyway, so I just got done explaining the scripture about it. I'm not going to worry about doing that again. I'm going to get underway with what I've got going. I've got my palette laid out. I got titanium white. I have cadmium yellow. I have transparent yellow oxide. I've got crimson alizarin. I've got transparent red oxide, and then I've got ground white. Those are the colors I've been using all along. I also have in reserve for the sky Prussian blue, phthalo turquoise, and then burnt umber, should I need to go into this. What I'm going to try to work on at this point is further defining the lower quarter of this canvas of Elijah, the altar here, and the prophets of Baal standing by looking in fear. So that is my plan tonight. Let's see here. Okay, good to see you, Zen. Good to see you, Ray, Lisa, everybody. Yes, exactly. That's what I was seeing on some of the YouTube channels I was already watching for this type of stuff because I'm trying to do whatever I can with what I've got for equipment. And I know that there are things running in the background that don't need to be on this laptop. And I'm not an IT professional, and so therefore I have to figure out how to do that. So yeah, I'm going to work down here. And let's see, I'm also probably going to work a little bit on the fire down here as well. I need to get my reference photo up and running here. Okay, so a lot of this I'm making up as I go along because no matter what reference I looked at, it had a altar that was hewn by human hands, and that is not what scripture, it's not accurate for scripture. And so I want to make sure that the altar looks like it's made out of unhewn, I don't know if that's a proper word, unhewn, but stone, regular stone. So I'm going to go ahead and put the colors that were in reserve for the sky down because these will make great dark colors of the bottom parts of the altar here that are consumed in fire. So I'm only going to have spots of darkness where most of this is a light with the fire coming down. And then I need to develop the sides here and then come in at the last to really define those figures. Right now I just got paint marks that are blocking them in. And so I want to make sure that I'm not going to be able to paint them in tonight because it'll be too wet. I'm going to get the fire more the way it should be based on the reference photo, get Elijah and the altar, and then maybe even this part of the foreground worked on. So that's my plan. Now I'm sticking to it. Trying to there we go. And then one of the last things I'll do is I'll splatter at the base here what looks like sparks flying out to show that it's like wham, wham, you know, with the sound effects and all. Wham. So that's the plan, and I'm sticking to it. All right. So let's see. I'm going to keep losing my reference photo. There we go. I want to get an orange as well. So how is everyone's week going so far? I've got a lot going on myself that as I paint, I might talk about. Some of you who follow me on social media already have an inkling of what's going on. Some of you don't. But my mom is in the hospital. She went into the hospital yesterday. And she, you know, I'm not going to disclose what's going on with her privately, other than to say she's having some digestive issues that are causing her severe pain, and she's really struggling with some of what's going on with her. So keep her in your prayers. I would love to be able to get her down here, but it's a difficult prospect for a lot of reasons. One, because of money. Two, because my husband and I have an agreement about our house and protecting our marriage and everything like that. So we don't have a problem with people visiting us, but long-term stays are not usually something we want to consider. because it does take a toll. But at the same time, we're trying to figure out something that'll work. And so it's a little frustrating. Even if we were to bring her down here, she would be, it would be difficult getting her in and out because we don't have any handicap access in our home right now. Everything's got stairs. It's just there's a lot going on. We don't have a handicap access bathroom. So we're just, it's just a difficult situation all around. And so, but my heart's breaking for my mom because I know she's uncomfortable. She's not in a good space up there. She really needs to be around people who would care for her better than what's happening now. So, and I can't really go into all the details here because it's too public, but let's just say that it's not the ideal situation. So yeah. Ma'am. I was just saying y'all's stuff. Trying to get that bam right here. This is where it's all taking place. And I'm drawing. I'm painting here. I need to. Some of this is turning green, and I don't know if it's because of the blue in the background. So I'm going to bring in some of that transparent red oxide that's going on here. And then it's going to fade here, so I need to probably do more of the transparent yellow oxide. That gets this a little bit, and I'm going to paint right over the blocked-in figures because they're going to get painted and defined later once this is all dry. So I'm not worried about. But as it goes down, I want it to start to fade as it goes away from the source here. The other thing, I haven't talked about Stella in a while, but Stella she's, for most days, she's doing good. Today, she's had a setback with what I'm calling feline vertigo. And we think that's whatever ails her, and it's not something that, it's not like she's had antibiotics, which seem to have helped her, but you can't stay on antibiotics forever, and it seems to reoccur. And so I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of the vertigo type symptoms that she sometimes has. I think it's going to be part of her life going forward. I'm hoping that's not a deterrent for her to get adopted out. So anyhow, that's how she's doing. She's gaining weight. She's looking more like a normal cat every day. So that's good. She's going to get fixed this coming Tuesday, I think. So she's what we call twirly. We looked up, she's got this weird behavior where she's like constantly flipping, and it's like she can't settle down. And according to internet sources, she is, because she's not fixed, she's waiting and ready and waiting for a tomcat to come and say hello. That's what we're given to understand from some of the internet sources that we looked into, because we're like, why is she so twitchy and twirly and all that stuff? And that's what the sources say anyway about her, because she's a kitten that was, we're assuming, in a feral state, but we don't know because, like I said, she just showed up barely alive in our yard one day about a month ago, and we've been taking care of her ever since. We can't keep her because we can't mix her with our other cat, Mama Cat. Mama Cat is a special needs cat because she's got the feline immuno. Oh heck, was it immuno? It's a HIV for kitty cats. So yeah, we can't keep two cats, especially one that doesn't have it with the one that does. So that's really looking hot, isn't it? Holy cow! Yeah, yeah. Ron, my husband, says she just wants to be touched bodily. And that is, that's indeed true based on the internet sources that we were looking at. Then, yeah, I can't wait for her to get fixed. She's so fidgety. She's got enough going on with her vertigo symptoms. She doesn't need to be twirly, twirly for the boys. We don't need to be twirly for the boys. So yeah. Really showing up good. Let's see. I really should get some Galkid going. Galkid is my fast drying medium. Put that over here. I got that open really easy tonight. Usually it gives me a hard time. So, but yeah, so my mom was supposed to go home from the hospital today, but they were checking her legs. My mom's got several comorbidities that they have to kind of check around. And they were a little concerned that she might have a blood clot, so they're checking her legs and stuff. So they're keeping her one more night, I think, because she called me. And unfortunately, while she's been there in the hospital, she developed some sort of cold in her throat because she sounded like she had gravel in her throat today, which is not how she sounded yesterday. So I'm a little peeved at the hospital up there because it seems like they see her, which they're familiar with her because she's got all, like I said, she's got comorbidities going on. I can't say that word very well. And I'm afraid they see her as a cash cow. They're like, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do this. Let's keep you one more day. I just don't trust the medical establishment these days. I don't know. I guess I'm very cynical. That's the word. Very cynical about things when it comes to the medical establishment. So, anyhow, there's that. We're under a flood watch uh, between 8 o'clock tonight and Friday, I believe it is, for rain because whatever Bertha down in the Gulf of America is doing is slow moving, and so it's going to have rain showers over us, and it's going to be slow moving, sort of like what's been happening, and I think in Texas and in spots of Kentucky and Tennessee. It's kind of happening. It's going to happen in our area, so we're a little concerned. But we believe our house is in a decent spot. It's not the highest spot, but we're not in the lowest spot either. Yeah, you want to get sick and go to the hospital, right? My mom sounded awful this morning, absolutely awful when she called me. And I'm like, what happened? And she's like, I got a cold here or something. And I'm like, dang it, you know? So yeah, I'm not a fan. They don't seem to, um, my mom's been complaining of pain and and that type of stuff for years to her doctors in Virginia. And they just, they're so compartmentalized, and no one wants, the one primary care doctor is really just an RN, or a physician assistant. And so not a doctor per se. And so she doesn't have centralized someone overseeing her entire care, the whole picture, the big picture. She's she's got a cardiologist. She's got someone for her endocrine system. She's got someone for her edema and all this, that, and the other thing. And she's just, poor thing, is in pain a lot. Now, she's lived a life that's been not the best nutritionally, and a lot of that is her own fault, obviously, because it takes years to get into poor condition weight-wise. But in the last 10 years, she's been in an environment where there's not healthy eating going on. And she's not very mobile on her own. And so she can't go and get her own groceries without someone helping her. And anyway, I'm not going to get into a lot of complaining. A lot of the time she's essentially living on her own, even though she's in a house with other family members. She essentially lives on her own. And that's all I'll say to that here. But um, she she needs to be around people who love her and care and check in on her, and that would be me. And I just don't have the funds and certain logistical, situational, that will enable me to do that just yet. Maybe something will break for us. I looked into last year maybe trying to get my family member up there to assist financially in maybe getting my basement, half of my basement finished off, and make it like an apartment for her. So she'd already be in the safest spot of our house uh, in the event of a bad weather situation, Um, and I even talked to a contractor, and I even sent the information to the family member to ask them to help. And then it would be just a matter of getting mom down here once we had the basement finished off. But I never got a response, and I didn't get any financial assistance. And I don't have the ability to get a loan to do that. I'm kind of maxed out with Carlin mortgage and some other debt that I'm trying to pay out of. So, yeah, I am trying to do all this, and um, I'd like to be able to um, make my way with it through my artwork. That's kind of why I'm doing all this, is to find a way to make it happen. And it's just so slow going. My mom is 81, So it's not like there's a ton of time left. I'll be blessed to have her another 10 years. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to be hopeful, prayerful that things will work out. You know what I mean? I'm just checking out some of the chat. And if you see me do this, it's because I got trifocals. And so I have to go either do this or do this. So, but yeah, I'm I did some dark stones here and got just a figure of Elijah standing in the middle there. Here I go, I'm painting with my finger. I can't help it. Let's see here. It's a little too dark. I'll work my way up on the bottom here, carrying some of this lightness up and have it blend a little bit. Again, those figures are going to get developed over once this paint dries. So I know that they're going to be here, and then I can paint them in to scale. I got to get a smaller brush for Elijah. Now I got to do the same thing over here. And yeah, I've been scumbling the paint across the canvas here. If you've seen some of my other live streams, my bonus live streams this month, I've been working on an acrylic painting in my watercolor sketchbook, my hardcover bound one, and of me and Ron. And that I finished that the other night. And so it was a weird painting because it was a weird substrate. I had never worked on it, never painted on gessoed watercolor paper before. So that was a new experience for me. And I'm not sure I liked it, to tell you the truth. And it may be because I just never done it and I'm not used to the feel. So yeah, but I got it done. It was definitely interesting. Now I don't know if I'm going to do other portraits in that same sketchbook on the same substrate or not. I may go and just do watercolors, but we'll see. That's exactly right, Zin. You know, Zin put in the chat. It's hard being in your 50s. You're trying to help your kids get going and your parents getting older. It's a lot. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I'm at. So yeah, I'm just, it's just frustrating because, you know, if I had planned better, maybe I could have, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I could have done. I honestly don't. Um, but so, you know, between Ron and me trying to figure out what can get going, he's working on trying to get his project going, his TTRPG. And if he can get that going, and if it gets as good as we think it could get, um, then we might have the funds to get her down here sooner rather than later. Right now, if it's left up to me, it's probably not going to happen. So Ron's working hard to try to get that going. Not only for that reason, but that would be a bonus. He knows that it hurts my heart that my mom is in such pain and struggling. That's really coming out, isn't it? Really kind of got that blast feature going. Oh yeah, Ron was saying he's been keeping an eye on other TTRPGs trying to get off the ground, and so he's been watching Kickstarter and other creators, you know, benchmarking and stuff. And there's one guy, I guess he's on YouTube. I don't know his name. He's got enough followers, so we're not going to share his name. We need followers for Crazy Bear, but he he has over 100,000 followers on his YouTube, and like other like D&D players and stuff, they're getting sick and tired of the woke, you know, rule book and uh, changes and stuff. They just want to play the game, you know. It's escapism, and we don't need, you know, they don't want to have to deal with being lectured while trying to play a game. um, so yeah, he was putting out his own, and he started his Kickstarter, I guess this week or last week, but just recently, a 30-day Kickstarter, and his goal was 50,000. And in the space of just a couple of days, literally like 1 or 2 days, he's already over 1 million on his Kickstarter, and he's still got like 28, 27 days left to his Kickstarter. And he was only asking for 50,000 to get his stuff off the ground. And it's like, holy cow, you know. So hurry up, honey. Get out there. No pressure. So yeah, it can be really lucrative if you're very, you know, uh, you've got a large following. There are people out there looking for better games. My husband's got a better game. He really does. He needs to get it out there. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this defined, this ground again, get some of the darkest darks. And then I might go into the sky a little bit and then let this dry And then I'm going to define my prophets of Baal on each side and try to get Elijah looking less stick figure like, because he's looking pretty stick figure-ish at the moment. So yeah. My adult son Nick, who tends to show up in the live streams, he recently had to move to an apartment, a new apartment, so he's been pretty busy himself, and he's finally getting settled in. He's got a kitty cat too, and so I imagine he'll join again um, at some point in the near future. Uncle Ray wants a blue Porsche. Uh-huh. I want to pay off my bills. That would be great. Pay off my mortgage, pay off my bills, and maybe be able to retire someday down the line myself. I'm going to get a smaller brush. I'm doing some more indications of stones here. Yeah, we've decided, Ron and I have decided that given the state of the surveillance state nowadays in all things electronics, including cars, we're going to try to stick to keeping older model vehicles, but just keep them well maintained. We prefer our privacy, thank you. Ron's like, I want to get an air conditioner for my 2001 Jimmy and maybe even a new windshield wiper for the back glass. We probably need to include a new windshield wiper motor. We might want to fix the gas gauge on that. We might want to replace the radio so you can have music. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Let's see here. That's really nice and vibrant. It's really making me feel good that this is turning out the lights that I want. There we go. Yeah, when I look at the sky in the video, it's very patchy. And I need it to be more uniform down here and here, and maybe in some of these spots. And then the only patchy parts are actually the clouds in various shades of being reflected light on them. So I definitely gotta see here. I know that some of the brightness needs to go back up there. Yikes. Need some water. Zen, you and I are probably in the same boat about that. I don't think I'll probably get to retire either. I'm just hoping that my job will keep me, you know, has got some changes going on in my workplace. Have me a little nervous. But I've decided that no matter what I do, worrying about it's not going to help. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to leave that in God's hands, or try not to worry about it anyway, because worrying doesn't do anything except give you stress, heartburn, and maybe some other health issues. Lord knows that we don't need any more health issues. It's a little too bright. There we go. I don't blame you for liking the new truck. Hopefully it'll last you a while. I'm hearing a lot of bad things about the newer model vehicles. These, again, from YouTube videos, I don't know how accurate it really all is, but you being a mechanic, probably don't have to worry about it, I'm guessing. Trying to do touches of the brightest brights here. All right, let's see about doing I definitely gotta get more burnt umber on my palette. It really helps to make a nice dark color. That will do that. Here. Now work in the sky now. Try to get that more flat color in some of these spots down here. All right, I'm going to double check and see how the, okay. I agree with Lisa. I agree with Lisa. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm looking at the camera. And again, I talked about this last time, but when you're working on a piece of art, you see it one way in person. And right now it looks pretty uniform. But when I look at it through the lens of a camera, whether it's a camcorder or a still shot through a camera, you see it differently than your eye does. So it's important to kind of keep your perspective switching, so that way you're not missing something that you wouldn't see otherwise in person. You see how that's coming in, and I think it does dry differently. It definitely does dry differently. So So what I've mixed here is burnt umber, phthalo, no, Prussian blue. Yeah, those two to get this dark color. So yeah, what I need to do is get some of this sky a little bit more solid, less splotchy. Is that a word? Splotchy. Down here where it meets the ground, I think that needs to be pretty uniform. And then let the clouds be up here that have some light reflecting off of the pillar of fire. Because I think it's not too long that I can have this done if I stay focused. And I got glare happening from my light. So all of this is like reflecting the glare of my lamp light. So that's why I keep looking over here too, because there's no glare in that view that you guys have. Oh, I didn't say that. I've been wanting to get back to exercising during my lunch hours. Now I haven't been able to do that. For one reason or another, there's always something I've got to get done in my lunch hour that can't wait till after work or whatever. So I haven't been able to do it during my lunch hour. But like last night, after hearing about my mom, um, and instead of pacing and being worried and all that stuff, I went ahead and just threw on some workout clothes and I went downstairs because last weekend I went ahead and um, cleaned the equipment off downstairs. Our workout room is downstairs and it's collecting basement dust more than anything else. And so I cleaned it up last weekend, knowing that my intention was to get back to it. I never felt better than when I was working out. I need to get back to that for sure. Plus, I don't want to get so unhealthy um, in my older years. So that's another reason. The fact that I don't have health insurance is yet another reason. So I got to get healthier. So yeah, I wanted to get to it today, but other things took precedence. But it did help get some of my restlessness, my fear, my anxiety about my mom. It helped release some of that. So there is something to be said about exercising when you're stressed out. So yeah, if you ever wonder about that, just know in my experience, um, it was actually helpful. And I do want to do it again. I may even do it tonight. I'm starting, well, I didn't get on the treadmill. I did a step workout without the step because I'm way out of shape. So I had to start off slow. So yeah, I may do a palette cam here. Wow. Holy cow. I used to, um, I used to drive an hour to work and an hour back every day for the better part of 10 years because I couldn't get a job closer to home. That was up in New England. All right, I'm going to do palette cam. I'm going to switch it up to palette cam so you guys can see. See, when I'm sitting down, this is how it looks when I'm sitting here. So I'm sitting here and I'm painting. This is the glare I'm seeing. So then I look over at my camera and I can see it better. So just so you know, that's what it's looking like to me. So let me just turn this real briefly so neither of us get a glare. But you can see I did do some darker spots of stone. And then I'll probably touch some bright areas like here amongst the stone. But you can see he's a stick figure. And you can see the remnants of the blocked in figures. I'll get those put into. They got to be about the same size as he is. So they're a little bigger when I blocked them in. So they got to be repainted anyway. But you can see there's more glare on this side. So you can see I still got to get up here and get into those clouds a little bit. So let me step back. Sorry about all the shaking of the camera. So yeah, talk about a big plume of fire, huh? Like I said, I'm going to do, splattering of paint to show sparks coming out here as if it just hit. It's like, boom, Like I said, not a complicated composition, but definitely dynamic for the lighting and the subject matter, I guess, if you want to call it that. There we go. All right. Now turn this back here, back to this thing. Let's see. Oh, back to my your live stream. There we go. Oh, yeah. So yeah, some of the clouds over here have a reflected orangey light from the plume. I'm not sure how I'm going to accomplish that and have it not be part of the fire plume, but I'll figure it out, I think. All right, now I am going to do a little bit more darkening down here. Yeah, I got to figure out how to make him less stick figure like it's going to drive me to drink. I'm excited about the prospect of doing the Creative Arts Guild tent event. That's a Saturday and a Sunday in September. It might be the perfect opportunity to sell some prints because I got a significant print inventory in the hopes that I would sell prints. So, and it would be the right kind of crowd. I just didn't have enough artwork to cover tent walls in years past. Now I do. So we'll see. I have to be approved for that. And it depends upon how many of my artworks that I submitted for their exhibition get accepted or not. And then if they all do, then I'm going to have to hustle to get maybe another couple of pieces done before September. So that ought to be interesting. I don't know when I'll find out about the jury process and whether I'm approved or not, hopefully sooner rather than later. Wow. Thank you, Zen. Saying that the blue looks good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Every now and then I go back to check the YouTube chat because, like I said, I turned off the chat overlay just to make sure that I wasn't overtaxing my system. If there's anything that needs to be deactivated, it would be that, I would say. So as much as I like having that feature, I'd rather not have a loss in my live stream because then it don't work anyway. So yeah. Some of this is too bright. I'm trying to. It's still too bright. Amazing how bright it gets. The scumbling really helps. And you don't want to overdo it. You want to give it almost like a glazing. You know, I hate to say this about the conversation y'all are having about the state of education. I agree. I think it's pretty sad. And what they're ending up doing is passing kids that don't deserve to be passed because they haven't passed the basic functions. And of course, they're replacing basic reading, writing, and arithmetic with social dysfunction. And it's bad. But part of me is like, okay, well, then I'll be okay in the job market because employers they need people who can read, write, and do arithmetic. Thankfully, I can. I can also read, you know, shorthand. I can read penmanship. You know, I can write penmanship. Not that I have that in my job, but I mean, I can write complete sentences without abbreviations. You know, so I have to think that maybe I have a little bit more job security if I can just make sure that people are hiring me, not, you know, or not hiring me because I'm not old enough, or I mean, young enough rather. Well, Lord knows I'm old enough. But because the unfortunate thing is there's age discrimination. Today I got a nice compliment from an engineer that I work with. He's one of the good ones that really tries to make sure he gets me information that I need without a lot of backlash or, you know, anything like that. And he's like, "You do an amazing job, Steph. I'd like to think that you're safe. You do, you know, you're very thorough and attention to detail, and that's always been me in my position. So my hope is that the new management sees that too, because I'm going to have to be doing this for a while until uh, uh, the the Kickstarter gets going for my husband and makes millions of dollars." Let me guess, I need to put some more burnt umber on my palette, I think. Let's see here. That's true, Ray. A lot of kids are very entitled, and that's a large part due to two major factors: parents who don't parent, and society that tells kids that they're victims. And then I would say there's a third equally important reason in my estimation, and that is gratitude. Attitude of gratitude is not taught. Um, I don't think Christian parents are doing enough um, to make sure that their kids know scripture, you know, that are, you know, to be biblically literate as well as others. And I'm not, and notice I said parents, not schools. I don't believe in government run schools. I think we should get rid of them because they're a huge part of the problem. But then teachers like Ray would probably be out of a job. So part of me is like, okay, unless they got into the private schools, which I'm okay with private schools because, you know, they're the answer to a different set of people. They answer to parents, you know, where there's the bureaucracy is the people, you know, that own the school, but they also answer to the parents who pay tuition. I don't know. I don't think it should be a government thing. That's all I'm saying. Because the government's never run anything right. And I think we should have a tax holiday too, given all the fraud that keeps getting uncovered. And of course, you know, Ukraine getting money instead of Americans. I think it's time to shut off the spigot and close the borders completely and just heal America from what ails it because she's very sick. Of course, I'm on my soapbox now. Did you notice? Huh. Well, it's there's my youngest son. He's in auto body. He's a painter and he does auto body. Uh, and there's a lot of older guys in that business because a lot of younger guys don't have, they have those problems um, with attitude adjustments and expectations and entitlement and all that stuff. And the older guys are going to have to retire at some point, and so there's not enough of that labor to go around. Not good labor anyway. Thankfully, my son's a hard worker, but he also knows, and I've taught him this, is that he needs to value his life too, and not be a workaholic like his father, because he'll miss out on all kinds of things in life. But yeah, still work hard, have a good work ethic, but also know how to balance having a life with having a job. That's awesome, Zen. Yeah, Ray, exactly. Well, I don't know. I've put it out there on my social media that if you haven't watched, there's a show called Contraband, Seized at the Border, and it happens to be on Hulu. I don't know if it's on any other streaming service, but it's all about the border in Texas, um, and and uh, and I've been watching it, but it's been all during the Biden years, so it's not after um, Trump got back into office. I'm waiting to get to those those episodes. Funny, this color I'm applying is very bright, but on the palette it doesn't seem that bright, but it's definitely bright on the canvas. It's amazing what you see, how you see things differently. All right, well, I'm going to go to the camcorder solely for a second so you guys can see that. But yeah, I still gotta get this better. And I may work on that over the weekend and then let this dry and get those prophets of Baal definitely rendered more as people. I maybe get the size of him and the size of them in line as well. And then, like I said, fix the sky. And then I think I'm going to be done with this. I just got to get the figures figured out. So, but yeah. Let me go ahead and go to post solo for a second. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. That was the old chat before I turned it off. But so yeah, I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Again, check out Rick Cassidy's stuff. Again, all of his links are in the show description below. Please also do all the algorithmic things like, comment, share. There's a share button under the live stream. And whatever else the algorithm likes. I have one more raid I've got to do for the Rumble Creator Program. I'd like to go ahead and hit that marker, even though the rest of it may not be hit. I'd like to do that, so I'm going to search for a live stream real quick that we can raid as I close out the show. But yeah, everybody, you guys, please be praying for my mom and for my heart. So one, because it hurts for my mom, and two, because I have some bitterness and resentment building. I can't talk about what's causing that, but it's palpable, and that's not who I am. And so, yeah, if you can pray for us, I would greatly appreciate it very much. And then I know that some of you guys have had some issues, and so keep those that were in the chat tonight in prayer, because I know that you guys also have issues going on in your lives, and I care too. And so just know I see it as well. So thank you again. And be sure to check out my website at midlifeartist.com. Connect with me if you haven't on the connect and support page. And then, yeah, let's see if we can raid. There's a guy on Rumble that's a Christian that looks like he's got a great show going on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit raid. Confirm. Yes. And we'll go there in a minute. But thanks again, everybody. I'll be back next Wednesday for sure. Saturday night, Ron and I are going to do a live stream to celebrate our second wedding anniversary for this month. So if you can join us, 6:30 Saturday. Have a good night.